I am back after a short hiatus with the team that I've been using to climb in Ultra League. So a little bit of a Spice Lead Decidueye. My Talonflame on the lead is a great answer to that. They come in with Gengar, so I throw a Flame Charge. And because Gengar's so spammy and a Glass Cannon, I decided to come in with my Walrein because I can get to an Icicle Spear pretty quickly, faster than I can get to another Flame Charge. And it's a decent answer to that. Down goes the Gengar and in comes a Sylveon. So I pretty much know at this point that my team can handle this backline pretty well. Throw the Icicle Spear. And I come in with Cresselia, save the Talonflame for the Decidueye in the back. Throw a Moonblast here, and then I should be able to come in with Talonflame and finish it off. This shiny Cresselia is a new addition to my Ultra League lineup. In Great League, I did not have a shiny, so I decided to build the shiny for Ultra League. It has decent IVs as well for PvP, and it's a great Pokemon to have for the Open Ultra League. Into the next battle, we have a Swampert on the lead. So I will gain a little bit of energy before this first Hydro Cannon comes in and catch on the Cresselia because it doesn't do much at all. Even the Earthquakes aren't too bad. Cresselia has a lot of bulk, and the Grass Knots will one-shot a Swampert because it's double super effective. So the Cresselia here will get some shields. At least one from this Grass Knot, unless they let it go. And I am getting kind of low, so I will shield just because I know I can flip this, and it's probably my best answer to the Swampert. They do unfortunately get another Hydro Cannon off though, so I will shield that and throw this Grass Knot. And they don't shield, so it takes it out. Probably could have farmed it down most of the way unless they got to another Hydro Cannon, but either way, probably decent play to shield or not shield. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. But Abomasnow does not want to see this Talonflame, so that's what I'm going to bring in. Get to a Flame Charge, and they will be shielding this unless they want their Abomasnow to be one-shot. They shield it, and the ramp up from the Flame Charge will allow me to put a lot of pressure on this Abomasnow. A lot more pressure than the Weather Balls will. So they come in with Giratina. I can throw Brave Bird and then swap out into Walrein to clear the debuff. And the Brave Bird does a big chunk. Unfortunately, it was CMP, so I can't swap out, and this Dragon Claw will take me out. But this Walrein is poised to take the Giratina out with the farm down, and then throw an Earthquake or Icicle Spear at the Abomasnow. And I'm not exactly sure why I threw this Earthquake. I mean, both are resisted, I think, Ice and Ground types. But I'm able to get to another Icicle Spear, and I don't even need it. So into the next battle, Talonflame Mirror. Stick this one out. Usually they'll go for Flame Charge to try and get the boost in a shield because threatens the Brave Bird damage. So I'm going to call the bait, and then I think I throw a Brave Bird of my own. I do. So we'll see if they shield or not. If they shield, I can just come in with another Pokemon. They do. So in comes Cresselia. I generally use this as my safe swap unless there's a hard answer to it on the lead for my opponent. Because even with super effective damage, it has a good bit of bulk and can usually flip shields or wind switch. And I'll let this go. Save the shields for my backline because I can come back in with Talonflame or Walrein early at this point. And they decided to throw again, so I'll let it go. Probably thought I was going to throw energy myself because Incinerate takes so long to charge up. But I'll throw this Icicle Spear with Walrein. And that's enough to take out the Talonflame. In comes Umbreon. So I'm going to farm up some energy, and then I think I bring in the Talonflame, just in case the Walrein needs that energy for whatever's in the back. And it's a Swampert, but I already tapped the Flame Charge, so we'll see what this does. Either way, it'll boost me to potentially get a Brave Bird off, so I will shield this. The Brave Bird will take it out the Swampert with the boost. Probably would have taken it out without the boost as well, or at least gotten it extremely low. But that's one shot on the Swampert. And then Walrein can come in and throw this Earthquake at the Umbreon. And I just need to get to one more Earthquake, and I should be able to take this. Not sure how much damage the Dark Pulse would do to a Walrein, but they're going to beat me to it, so we'll see. And for whatever reason, they undercharged it, so they surrendered, and that's a good game. Zekrom from my opponent in this next battle on the lead. So I will throw the Brave Bird and dip, see if they shield or not. And typically Zekrom has Wild Charge and Crunch, so I opt to bring in Walrein because I'm assuming they wouldn't want to debuff themselves with the Wild Charge, and they might expect me to shield, and I didn't want to take the Crunch on Cresselia. But they throw a Flash Cannon, and in comes a Blaziken, which farms me down before I can throw the Icicle Spear due to the nerf. Come back in with Talonflame. Just need to get a Brave Bird off to take this out. And I'll call the Blaze Kick. If they want to throw a Brave Bird, more power to them. But I didn't think they had enough energy at that point. So I will shield this move. It is another Blaze Kick, and then I CMP'd, I just lost it. So the Brave Bird one-shots Blaziken. A lot of one-shots with this team. In comes an Aerodactyl. So I bring in Cresselia, I'm up a shield, and I think I'm poised to take this one. So throw the Grass Knot, which should do neutral, because it's rock flying. The flying resists, the rock is weak to it. And they throw an Earth Power. Doesn't do too much to the Cresselia. I can farm down and then throw a move at whatever comes in the back. The Zekrom comes back in, and it's going to eat a super effective Moon Blast. Another good game to my opponent. And Obstagoon lead. I've been seeing a lot of Obstruct Night Slash Obstagoon, so I'm not too scared to bring in the Walrein if I need to, but I will let them throw a few Obstructs and chip me little by little, because I can just ramp up with the Flame Charge. It pretty much evens itself out with the attack buff and the defense buff for Obstagoon. And I'm not too worried about taking the defense debuff on Talonflame, simply because Obstruct doesn't do that much damage and the counters are resisted. So I'll let this go again, likely be another Obstruct. Still just now getting to half health. And I'll shield this just in case they decide to throw Night Slash, because it's cheaper than Obstruct and it probably would have taken me out with the defense debuffs. Farm down the rest of the way, and I'm waiting to see the typing of what comes in. Garchomp, Dragon Ground, throw the Brave Bird, they shield it, and I would have probably immediately swapped out here, but the move going through took me out with the Brave Bird debuff anyway. So build up some energy, throw an Icicle Spear at this Venusaur. And they're out of shields, so I get to this next Icicle Spear, and this will be enough to take it out, and then some. And I've still got the Cresselia in the back. One Icicle Spear should do it if I can get to it in time. I do. And let's just see if this one-shots the Garchomp. It does, and another good game. So, into the next match. Incineroar on the lead. I don't really have a great answer for Incineroar. It resists the Fire type from Talonflame, and typically it's running, I believe, Snarl, Dark Pulse, and Flame Charge. So it handles my team pretty well. Throw the Brave Bird, they let it go. So that's huge for me. And then I decide to come in with Wall Rain, farm down. Shield thinking this is a Flame Charge, but Dark Pulse or Flame Charge both do neutral, I guess, with Wall Rain's typing. In comes a Snorlax, and I'm just building up to Earthquakes to try and get the shields with Icicle Spears. Even if they don't shield it, it's good enough for me. And this might be a Body Slam bait. It is. Superpower would deal a good bit to Wall Rain, but it'll also debuff the Snorlax. So I'll just keep chunking with these Icicle Spears. I'm not going to shield this. And throw another Icicle Spear. They've still got 2 shields. They elect to use one. Let's see if they use the second one or not. For this Icicle Spear, it would have taken it out. So I decided to come back in with the Talonflame. Again, I'm not going to shield. I'm not too worried about the Body Slam. I thought I could maybe farm down and then throw a move at whatever came back in, but I did not. Still not going to shield. Nothing Snorlax has charge move wise really threatens Cresselia. And in comes Venusaur, which is just fine for me. The confusion damage really helpful in this matchup, so I'm glad I'm running confusion instead of Psycho Cut. That's what the PvPoke team recommendation recommended. Even though in the rankings, typically Cresselia is run with Psycho Cut, Grass Knot, Moonblast. Confusion definitely helps in scenarios like this. It's a little slower to charge the charge moves with the energy gains, but it's a more well-rounded Pokemon, which sometimes you need, especially when you have it on safe swap. They come in with Incineroar, 1 confusion takes it out, and 1 confusion takes out the Snorlax. If you've watched this far in the video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, helps to get the content out to more viewers. And especially since I've been away for a little bit, just with life stuff, it really mean a lot if you could help me out in that. So Talonflame into Sylveon. It's a Charmer, so not a great answer to a fire type like Talonflame. But I'm guessing it's the best answer that they have. So I'm just staying in. Got both the shields now, and I'll farm down, see what they bring back in. The Buzzwole comes back in, so I will throw a Flame Charge. Either or would work. I just decided not to debuff myself. That would have been great had I been able to get the Incinerate off, because I would have been able to Brave Bird or Flame Charge whatever was in the back, which just so happens to be a Metagross. But I just need to get to 1 Earthquake with Wall Rain. A little bit of lag, I think it's mutual. I can shield this move and then throw an Earthquake of my own and one-shot the Metagross. So like I said, this team is really good at one-shotting in a lot of these situations, which is kind of nice because it makes the games go a little bit faster in an otherwise monotonous and slow Ultra League. I do like Ultra League a good bit though, probably better than Great League, just because of the meta. Even if you're fighting XLs, like Talonflame that I have is XL, but it was a Community Day Pokemon. Cresselia is a legendary, but I think it took like 180 candies, so I just used some rare candies, including getting the second charge move unlocked. So about 80 candies to power it up to Ultra League CP, and 100 candies to unlock the second move. So we'll let this go. Like I said, Cresselia has a lot of bulk to it. I will be able to flip this. Get the shield. Talonflame comes in to finish it off. And I'll get to a move as I farm it down. Flareon comes in, So I'll throw the Flame Charge simply because I don't need to debuff myself, and they still have the shield, so they're going to use it. And throw this Brave Bird. We'll see if it's enough. Flareon doesn't have a ton of bulk. And another one-shot. Togekiss on the lead in this next match. Like I said, Charmers aren't really that scary to Talonflame. One of the reasons I like running Talonflame on the lead, it has a lot of good coverage against just about anything between the Flame Charge and the Brave Bird. It can pressure shields, it can pressure opponents, and you can clear the debuff because you have it on the lead. So I throw a Flame Charge, and I will shield if they get to a move, just because it could be an ancient power, and the upside seems well worth the investment of the shield, especially since they already shielded. Throw this Brave Bird, see if they shield it. They probably should, so we'll be up a shield, and they won't get any extra farm because of the debuff allowing the move that slips through to take me out. One of the other things I like about Talonflame is you can kind of force your opponent to deal extra damage if you're low enough. And I decided to come in with Walrein to avoid Cresselia taking the crunches. Even though it's got the bulk, I assume that it's better equipped to handle whatever's in the back. And it's a Sceptile, so I will use the shield on the Walrein just because it can deal super effective with the Icicle Spear. Kind of make the game go a little bit faster. And they should be able to throw a move, yeah. But there's little to no hope unless I would like glitch out here at this point in the match. So Cresselia comes in, finishes it off, and that's a good game. So into the last battle here. Got Talonflame into Swampert. This time I decided to come in straight away with Cresselia. And they bring in Sylveon to try and catch a Grass Knot. But I was not quite there, so I throw the Moonblast. And with Confusion, they typically charge at the same time, unless you really last a while. Then you might get to a Grass Knot, one Confusion before Moonblast. But I farm down this Sylveon, and in comes a Torterra, so I throw the Grass Knot. Now they have the Swampert in the back because that's what they led with. And I should be able to play this out to my advantage because the Talonflame can farm up energy after this Cresselia dies. But I actually come in with Walrein, which is probably a mistake. Should have farmed with Talonflame and then thrown the energy at the Swampert when it came in. Was hoping I could get the shield, but they opt to not shield the Swampert, and now they're going to be able to Hydro Cannon me down pretty easily and shield my Brave Bird. So, but I still might be able to win this if I can play it right with the Walrein in the back. So I let this go, save the shield for the Walrein, thinking I will need it, because I most likely will. And I think I need to get to an Earthquake here. Might have been able to do it with Icicle Spear, but I let this first Hydro Cannon go. Need to shield the next one. And then just one away from the Earthquake. But they were at 2 Hydro Cannons and they won CMP. Overall, this team performed well, and thanks for watching.